How's it going, everyone? Today is the final day of both the Planet of the Discount sale as well as the Games Under $15 sale. These sales are wrapping up today, and tomorrow will kick off the gargantuan summer sale. Now, I imagine a lot of these deals to actually roll over into the summer sale. I don't think that's too far-fetched to say that. However, I figured let's go through some of the deals that I didn't get a chance to cover, and let's talk about them. There's a ton more I could talk about, but these ones stood out to me, and I haven't talked about them in previous videos covering these sales. So without further ado, let's get right into it. And I want to kick things off with XCOM 2 The Collection, which is 80% off for $19.99. This is an excellent deal. You guys know me, I'm not a big fan of tactics-based games. However, XCOM Enemy Unknown really won me over, and XCOM 2 I thought was even better than that. And The Collection is what you want to buy. XCOM 2, the base game, goes on sale from time to time, but ideally you want to get The Collection because this includes an absurd amount of additional content. You get XCOM 2, War of the Chosen on top of a bunch of other DLC packs, and that's just going to add a lot of longevity to the game. Even if you're not the biggest fan of tactics-based games, strategy games, XCOM 2 is one that I think a lot of people would enjoy, and yes, I would say keyboard and mouse controls are ideal for a game like this, but it works well with the DualShock 4 controls as well, and $19.99 I think is such a good deal that I would highly recommend you to check this out. Alright, next up we have No Man's Sky. This is $29.99. It is a save an additional 10% if you are a PlayStation Plus subscriber, so No Man's Sky is a very easy game to recommend, as I mentioned with XCOM 2. A lot of longevity with XCOM 2 from a content standpoint, but No Man's Sky is a game that constantly gets updated, it constantly sees improvements, and Hello Games has done a masterful job at turning this game around, and we are coming up on 5 years since this game's initial release, and what a comeback this game has made over the course of 5 years. Remember, back in 2016, this game was a train wreck, and you were spending $60 on it, but now, for 30 bucks with all the additional content, is it perfect? No, but it is a much, much better experience. You've got a PlayStation VR component in there as well, so if you want to play the game that way, that's an option as well. Overall, the game is just excellent, and I highly, highly recommend you to check this out, especially given the fact that Hello Games has done such a great job of updating the game, keeping it fresh, and they haven't charged any amount of money for any of the content, which is fantastic. So go ahead and give this a look. Remember, it is also upgraded for PlayStation 5, so that is a great element too. Next up, for my Danganronpa fans, for my story-driven game fans, Zero Escape and Nonary games for $14.99 is an excellent pickup. You've got two titles here, and these are very much story-driven and akin to a visual novel, but the story in these games are tremendous, and if you're a fan of games with a lot of mystery, a lot of eerie elements, a little bit of, I guess you could say horror to an extent, Zero Escape is going to be something that you really enjoy. Again, light on the gameplay, but if you're looking for something that really captures you from a character standpoint, from a story standpoint, this is going to be a really good one. The third title in Zero Time Dilemma is also on sale. That's a separate pickup. I believe it's at like $9.99 or something like that. Maybe it's $15, but start off with Zero Escape the Nonary games and thank me later because it is an excellent pair of titles. Next up, Metroidvania fans, SteamWorld Dig 2 is 70% off for $5.99. I loved my time with SteamWorld Dig 2. I think it's one of the more underrated Metroidvania titles. SteamWorld Dig 1 was great, but SteamWorld Dig 2 levels up from that quite a bit. I mean, this is a game that some outlets gave a 10 out of 10 perfect score to it. I wouldn't say it's at that level of getting a 10, but it's pretty darn good. And again, if you like your Metroidvania games, there's not a lot you can go wrong with this one, and great art style in here as well. So $6 for this, thought that was an easy pickup. Next up, we have Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown, 75% off for $14.99. Excellent game by Bandai Namco. This is a game, an action flight title. Ace Combat's been around for a very long time. I wouldn't take the story too seriously, like it's not that emotional of a story or anything like that, but the gameplay is excellent, and then also that music in Ace Combat 7. Guys, look up some of the music on YouTube if you don't want to pick the game up because the music is absolutely excellent. $15 for this one is another really good buy. It's one that doesn't go much lower in price. I mean, it came out all the way back in early 2018, I want to say. Yeah, I believe early 2018. It came out right around the time, or early 2019, somewhere around there. I remember Kingdom Hearts 3 came out right around the same time, and I think the Resident Evil 2 remake came out around the same time, so I think that would peg it early 2019. Whatever the case may be, Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown is an excellent, excellent action fight game, and even if you've never played any of the Ace Combat combat titles in the past, check this one out because I think you guys are going to end up really enjoying it. Next up, we have Catherine Full Body Edition, 50% off for $19.99. Catherine is a game that I really enjoyed back on the PlayStation 3 days, and this is another game that's very much story-driven. However, it also has some unique puzzle gameplay elements, but the story is definitely at the heart of the experience. Full Body does add another route, another girl to the mix, and while it released at $50, and I thought that was way too high of a price point, at $20, it is a great pickup, especially because this is one of those quirky games over the last few years that has really gone lost in the shuffle, really going back to the initial release in, I believe, 2010. You know, the people that play it really enjoy it, but, you know, it doesn't get a lot of attention, but definitely for $20, I think Catherine Full Body Edition is a good buy here. Next up, Wolfenstein II The New Colossus is 70% off for $12. I loved my time with Wolfenstein II The New Colossus. By the end of the game, it gets a little bit off the rails, but that's kind of Wolfenstein for you. Obviously, this was done by Machine Games, a Bethesda studio, so unfortunately, any future Wolfenstein titles might not be coming to PlayStation, but Wolfenstein New Order and New Colossus are still very much worthwhile playthroughs, and while it's a single-player shooter, the campaign is actually relatively lengthy. Like, you can spend 10 to 12 hours with the campaign, so it's not like a 6-hour campaign that you get in there, you beat it real quick, and then you're done forever. No, it takes a little bit of time, and I think $12 is the perfect price for a game like this. I would recommend you to play New Order first. There is a recap video, I believe, in New Colossus, but I would just recommend you to play New Order just because it was a really good game. But $12 for New Colossus is pretty good. Next up, a game that I'm a big fan of, Slay the Spire is 50% off for $12.49. I like my card games. I was a big fan of Hearthstone for a while. I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in the day. Slay the Spire is a little bit different of an experience as it combines a roguelike and a card game all into one. And initially when I heard about this game, I was like, yo, this is a meme. There's no way this is a good game. But then I played it and I realized, oh, these two genres actually mixed together to create a very captivating experience where it's very, very decision-oriented, and right away, when you start playing this game, you're going to be making a lot of mess-ups, you're going to be making the wrong decisions, but as you learn, and as you start to understand how to combine the two elements, it becomes a very strategy-oriented experience because you build your deck as you're going through these runs. However, you can't just take every card. You want a thin deck. You guys, if you played card games in the past, it's about getting to the cards you need, and then there's elements of potions and all this stuff. It just has a lot of strategy-driven elements that make it a very, very compelling game. $12.49 might be still a little pricey for some of you guys, but it's a worthwhile game to check out, and I would definitely recommend it. A very strategy-oriented experience, and I had a lot of fun with it, and some of my friends have spent over 100 hours in this game, so yeah, there's a lot of replayability in there as well. Next up, we have Resident Evil 2, which is 60% off for $15.99. I don't think Resident Evil 2 is gonna go below $16 because it seems like this is the price it's kind of settled in at, even at a sale price, but $16 for RE2 is really good. Obviously, you have two different campaigns to go through, and this is such a good remake of the original Resident Evil 2, where Resident Evil 3 really wasn't as good of a remake. RE2 really did the original game justice. Visually, it looks gorgeous, story's great, high-octane gameplay, the puzzles are good, even though, you know, it retains the similar aspects of RE2, but just brings it to a modern audience. For $16, a good pickup here. And lastly, want to mention some of these PS2 on PS4 games a little bit more, but Rogue Galaxy, if you're a fan of JRPGs, it is a great buy. It's 50% off for $7.49. It was actually a game done by Level 5, which, well, I'm not really sure what Level 5 is up to these days as far as Western game releases go, but Rogue Galaxy was a really good one. It has a great art style that's made it age pretty well. It's got like this watercolor look going on for it, and it's a very, very long game. Like, if you're talking about content for your dollar spent, Rogue Galaxy is up there. Great combat system as well. This was one of those games on the PS2 that I really enjoyed as far as all the Japanese RPGs I played on there, and that was quite a few of them. But yeah, another one that gets lost in the shuffle quite a bit these days, but I would say give it a look for $7.49. And that's going to wrap up this one. Again, a lot of great deals available right now. More great deals coming tomorrow with the summer sale, but that's going to wrap up this one. I'll leave links to everything in the description box down below if you're interested, and I am out. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.